What do I know? I'm just a girl on the internet. I just sat here for the last 5 minutes doing the most obnoxious facial expressions and posing toward the camera because I needed to get a thumbnail for this podcast episode. And it's funny because I usually forget to do a thumbnail. Like I usually forget to pose for a thumbnail. So usually I just have to watch back all my footage and then just do like a screenshot of whatever face I feel is the most appropriate or would work for the podcast thumbnail cover. So that was really uncomfortable. Like literally 5 minutes of footage just went by and all you heard was like mouth noises because I was just making different faces. Anyways, welcome back to your favorite podcast. This is Girl on the Internet. I'm going to cut right to the chase. Okay, we are just going to segue right into the non-sponsored beverage of the podcast, water. And not just any water. I feel like this is some early 2000s, all right? I've got water in a regular cup. Yeah, I'm shocked too. A regular drinking glass. Okay? Because guess what happened? All right, guess what happened? I was going to go get a little sip of water out of my emotional support water bottle. You know, we all have one. Right. So I was going to go get a little drink, and I was like real thirsty. I was chugging that drink, and I had like a little bit of water left over for like maybe a couple nights, like on the nightstand and all that good stuff. And I'm chugging it and I'm like, this tastes, wait a second. This tastes a little off. This tastes a little bit off. And I didn't put anything in my drink to add flavor or anything like that. And I'm like, oh no. Oh no. Uh-oh. That's not a normal flavor. That's not a good taste in my mouth right now. Yeah, so guess what I did? I unscrewed her. Let's not even, how am I supposed to describe that to you without being gross? Okay, the straw, she was no longer see-through. Let me just tell you that. What is not see-through? Opaque or something. Translucent is when you can see through. Opaque is like cloudy, right? I don't know. We're not doing this right now. Either way, straw, gross. There's a little bit of growth on the inside of the water bottle. And to know that I was consuming that, okay. I either just added a few years to my life or subtracted a few. Either way, I'm not thrilled. I'm embarrassed. I'm upset. So she's in the dishwasher right now, okay? Her and all her other friends are in the dishwasher because I don't trust myself to try to clean that. So dishwasher it is. Cheers to a nice glass of water, literally like dripping sweat and condensation down the side. I don't have a straw, like a freaking animal right now. Feels weird. Feels wrong. Haven't drank out of a cup in so long. This sounds ridiculous. Like, Kayla, shut up. Anyways, I want to jump right into this episode because I feel like I have a lot to share with my female audience, anyone with a uterus out there that menstruates. And if you are one of my male listeners or someone without a uterus, this might not be the episode for you. Or maybe it is. And maybe you want to learn a few things about people with uteruses and you might want to learn a little something. Because I've had a uterus my whole life since I was in the womb or whenever it develops. And these are things that I never knew. I never knew what I'm going to talk about in today's episode until a few months ago with my functional medicine doctor. So stick around. This might be interesting to you. These were all things that I learned. And to be fair, I don't know. I want to say the majority of my listeners are in and from the US, but I do have some listeners outside of the US. So shout out to that. A lot of foreign listeners and all of that stuff. I don't know how other countries do healthcare and do health and sex education, but collectively, you could ask any American person or anyone that went to school in the US that the sex education and health education classes failed us growing up, okay? Failed us. Absolutely failed us. All they do is just tell you that a girl gets a period, and if you're having sex and you don't get a period, you're probably pregnant, and you also shouldn't have sex, and we're not going to teach you any other way to have safe sex or provide you with resources to do so. Just generally, I feel like the health education in schools, at least in the US, are trash, which probably explains why I am just now learning these facts about women's health at 28 years old. It's pretty terrible. And also, I think women's health in general is so complex and foreign to so many people. I think that's just why it's not talked about. It's a little bit more of a complex system. Men do not have to ovulate. Men do not have to worry about when they are shedding their inner uterine lining. Like, it's so complicated. Imagine, I could really go off on this episode. I'm not trying to make it political, but if cis men had to take oral contraceptives, oh my God. Do you know how widely available free birth control would be? And condoms and access to general good healthcare? Imagine a man having cramps at work. Oh yeah. Oh, how everything would be so different. It would be so different. There would either be, I could just go off. I'm really not trying to make this a political episode, but I think about it all the time because men are sometimes quite wimpy, okay? The man flu, you ever seen a man get sick with a common cold? Be for real. Oh my God, the world would be so different. You'd probably have time off for your period because I would love to see any man go to work with period cramps. Yeah, that'd be great. Okay, sorry, I digress. If you can tell, I might be on my period, so I might be a little spicy right now, which is kind of why I want to talk about this stuff too. So if you think I'm on one right now, it's because I am, brother. And I don't need anyone to come and be like, oh my God, you're being a bitch. Are you on your period? Ugh, that's like the oldest freaking, I can't. Anyways, I would love to do a series on the pod talking about women's health and just things that I've learned along the way. I have a profession in healthcare, but I am by no means an expert. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a gynecologist. So take this with a grain of salt. This is also some things that I've learned through my functional medicine doctor and also like online. I would love to do a series on the pod, just giving like little tips, tricks, life advice, and things I've learned when it comes to women's health, because I feel like that would be helpful. Today, I want to talk about how your period and your menstrual cycle is just that. It is a cycle, and there are multiple parts in the cycle. For myself, and I'm sure many of us included, we've probably always just thought that like, your period starts and then you wait for your period to end, and then the beginning of your next period is what's called the cycle. But there are so many components in that allotted time. If you've ever wondered why you're more bloated on certain days or you're more tired on certain days, maybe you're more energetic, maybe you're more like happy and excited or feeling more sexual or anything like that, because our bodies are literally working in phases and they are releasing different hormones at different times that can create different emotions and different feelings and literally change your body. And you can quite literally change shape, size, weight, and even your voice can change and alter during different parts of your cycle, which blew my mind. Did you know that your period has 4 cycles in it? Bet you didn't know that. The 4 cycles of your period are your menstrual phase, your follicular phase, your ovulation phase, and your luteal phase. So let's talk about it. A lot of women's health specialists will actually label these as seasons within your body. The menstrual part of your cycle is your winter, okay? And this is days 1 through 5. So this is like the first few days that you are actively bleeding on your period. And of course, it's day 1 to whatever it is that's specific for you. Some women, it's like 3 to 5, 7 to 10. It just depends on how long you are bleeding for. Your energy naturally going to be a lot lower. Okay. Obviously you're cramping, you're feeling like crap, you're bloated, you feel miserable. So if you're wondering like, hey, should I work out while I'm on my period? Like what's going to be best for me? You might think like you want to combat your bloating and like go run or go do some strength training or something like that. But actually it is clinically proven that it's actually better for you to do low intensity during the first few days of your period. If you even decide to work out. Yoga, stretching, walking, or even just resting and actually skipping the gym. By the way, everything that I'm talking about in this episode, I'm simply referencing from my functional medicine doctor, screenshots that I have on my phone, things like that. I don't have anything to cite my evidence. I don't have any research pulled up, but feel free to do that on your own time because it does exist. So just know that. What else? There's also certain foods that are best for you to consume while in the menstrual part of your cycle. And it makes sense, right? Because you are actively bleeding, like you are literally losing blood from your body. So it's best to replenish that, to stay hydrated and have nutrient dense foods. So because it's winter, technically in your body, it is recommended that you have like hearty foods, almost like soups and stews and things like that. So roasted veggies, soups, stir fries, red meat, fatty fish, shellfish, beets, mushrooms, greens. And it's recommended that you try to reduce caffeine, alcohol, and greasy processed foods during this time. I know, you're thinking the same thing as me, because when you're on the first 5 days, all you want to do is go get some McDonald's, go get some Taco Bell, have all the sweets, the chocolate, whatever it is you're craving. So it's kind of frustrating and kind of crazy how it's actually recommended that you avoid those things, because those kinds of foods can actually make your period cramps, your bloating, your acne worse during this time. Great time for setting and evaluating your goals, working on solo projects, strategically thinking of your next big move. Be gentle with yourself and highly reflective during this time, and make sure you honor your body and get extra sleep during this time. Some other supplements and things that you want to incorporate during your menstrual phase that will help support your body during this time: magnesium, iron, omega-3s, zinc, vitamin B, and lots of hydration. Moving on to your follicular phase. So this is, again, roughly day 8 to 14. Again, some other charts say 6 to 15. It just depends. So this is your spring, your inner spring. This is when your energy begins to rise. So as you're kind of coming off of your period, you're ditching the tampons, you're ditching the Diva cup. You're like, okay, we're feeling good. Recommended food during this time to support your body: we have red meat, poultry, salmon, eggs, cheese, fruit, veggies, fermented food, and flax seeds. The best type of exercise that is going to correlate with your follicular phase, it's going to be best for your body, is actually some light to moderate cardio. So running, hiking, swimming, walking. These are really great exercises to do during this time. Your body is also recovering from several days of literally shedding the inner lining of your uterus and bleeding and expecting you to be pregnant. So it's good to just like be gentle on your body during this time. And again, through talking with my functional medicine doctor, I have found out the hard way that like I would try to power through my regular weekly workouts, or if I'm strength training 5 days a week or I'm cycling 5 days a week, trying to do those normal workouts at certain times during my cycle. I learned the hard way that I'm like, okay, this is like extra hard, and for what? Like, for example, if you've ever tried to do a specific workout that you're really, really good at, say like strength training, and you're like lifting like 20 pounds, doing like bicep curls or something, and then you try to do that same workout during maybe like your menstrual phase or like a different part of your cycle, you can notice that it can actually be like way harder and way more challenging. And you're like, oh my God, why are these 20s like so heavy? It's literally because your body is not equipped to be doing that kind of exercise at that time. And that your body has actually lost some strength, some nutrients, some vitamins like during this time. It's so crazy. I can't believe it took me 28 years to learn this. Some other tips for the follicular phase. Best things to have: we've got probiotics, prebiotics, vitamin E, sprouted food, leafy greens, fermented foods. And then I have so many charts on my phone. I also try to post some things on the Girl on the Internet Pod Instagram. So if you guys are like visual learners, if that's helpful. This is time to flex your creativity and brainstorm. Good time to explore new opportunities with people and be curious. You can take an online course, learn, do some research during this time. You'll be very receptive to that information. Being clear on your vision and intentions, do something adventurous and take a chance on something new, and use your good mood and energy to help others. Moving on to your ovulation phase. Again, roughly days 15 through 17, days 15 through 20. This is your summer season. So we're going winter, spring, summer. So your energy is going to be the highest. This is going to be your peak energy during your menstrual cycle, which is super important to know. Highest energy, you're very focused, and you are your most powerful self during this time. This is the best time to start a business, jump headfirst into all of your intense work, get things done, check all the boxes. You can pitch ideas. You really want to connect with friends and family. You can have more difficult, tricky conversations. It's a great time to go on a date. You can explore yourself sexually because you're going to be feeling better about yourself. You can have important conversations, and you can really just be your highest focused self during your ovulation phase. So because you have the most energy during this time, if you had to guess like what kind of workouts you could be engaging in, this is when you're going to do your HIIT workouts, spin, stair climbing, running. This is when you're going to really get involved and use the max high energy and your potential to really crush it in your workout. It doesn't mean you can't walk or do yoga. You're going to want to power through those higher intensity workouts. Again, I can tell you a million times that I've tried to do HIIT training workouts like on the first or second day of my period. And I'm like, why is this the worst thing I've ever done in my life? Or I've tried to do high intensity during like my follicular phase or something. And I'm like, I just don't have the energy for this. But then now that I've been working on cycle syncing and like kind of tracking my cycle, it has been a game changer because trying to do certain workouts during certain parts of your cycle, eating certain foods, having certain supplements, it's just a game changer. It's incredible. So for your ovulatory phase or your ovulation phase, some other things that would be good for you: raw foods, high fiber, vitamin C, cruciferous veg, and vitamin B. Great time to, again, continue to socialize, network, negotiate, have fun, because this is going to be like the peak good feeling of your cycle. Isn't that sad? We like have this cycle for, some women average 28 days, 30, 32 days, and we only have like a couple of days where our energy is at our peak. And this is why people make jokes about women and their mood and their behavior and their attitude when they're on their periods. Oh, you're being such a bitch. Is it because you're on your period? Yeah, actually, Chad, I am. Okay. You try bleeding all day long and see how you feel. Okay. I want you to try to go to work when it feels like you're getting stabbed in the abdomen. Okay. And you get a little zap in your butthole because you got cramps that are so bad that you want to lay down in the fetal position. Okay. Yeah. Let's see you do that, Chad. I want you to try to go to work like that and let me know how you feel. And let me know if you act like a bitch. Sorry. Actually, I'm not sorry. Truthfully, it's because men don't get it. And that's the only low blow joke that they can make at women. Oh, are you on your period? I can only imagine what it's like to be on a cycle while having children and like being married. Like, yeah, I'm going to be frustrated if the kids are acting crazy or dinner didn't come out the way I did or my husband's acting weird or something like that. Like, I can only imagine those other stressors. Like, I have normal life stressors and I get that when I'm on my period and when I'm in my cycle, but to have all these other life stressors, oh, that's got to be crazy. That has got to be crazy. And it's like, yeah, if you really think about it, if a woman's cycle, again, stereotypically on average 28 days or so, if the ovulation phase is on average 2 to 5 days, that's 2 to 5 days, like a month, that we have peak energy and we are feeling our best. I'm sorry. What? Yeah, hey, actually, I didn't sign up for this. I did not sign up to only have 2 happy days a month. 2 energetic days a month. I need more than that. I've got a lot going on, okay? Like, this is crazy. And men's cycles, because obviously they're not ovulating and menstruating and all that, they work on a 24-hour cycle. Sleep and wake. That's it. That is it. 24-hour cycle. We have 28-day cycles, 28 days plus or minus. So yeah, next time your man wants to be smart with you, remind him that he and his hormones get reset every 24 hours. Not women. Not women. No. We need a full month to do that, okay? Absolutely crazy. It's like no wonder no one knows about this stuff because it's so complex. They don't ever want to teach you. They don't want to talk to you about it. They don't want to tell you about it. It's crazy. Moving on. Ovulation phase, your best phase. Rounding out the last phase of your cycle is your luteal phase. This is your inner fall. This is days, again, roughly 20 to 28. The last stretch before you start menstruating again and your period comes back. It's the best. This is when you get that decrease in energy. Wah, wah, wah. Yeah, isn't that terrible? Like, you have to laugh. You have to laugh. Being a woman is so hard sometimes. You have to laugh. What was that? You get 3 days of being energetic. And then the rest of your cycle, you're fighting for your life, right? Because menstrual phase, you got no energy. You're bleeding, you're cramping, you feel like crap. Follicular phase, you're just starting to feel better because you're like, okay, I'm done with the period. Okay, this is good. And then you get a little burst of energy, just a little bit. And then it goes downhill from there again. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? That is terrible. Who designed this? Who driving this bus? Like, girl, this is crazy. Okay, sorry. Luteal phase. This is the last little bit before your period comes back. Okay, your decrease in energy start here and you go back down like that. It's so crazy. Oh, it's so terrible. I'm laughing because it's tragic. Okay, you want to avoid big tasks and big responsibilities at this time. You want to focus on small detail-oriented tasks or things that are repetitive and familiar. You want to fully focus on self-care and alone time. Celebrate your wins, flex your boundaries, and say no. Your anxiety will also be at an all-time high, so give yourself a little bit of grace. Okay, cool. That's great. That's good to know. So I went from having all this energy to being anxious and can't do anything for myself. Great. That's great. Okay. So luteal phase, fall, energy decreases. If you are going to work out, you can do something that is like low to medium impact or intensity, because again, you still have a little touch of energy, but it is starting to decline. So strength training, ab workouts, Pilates, walking, those sorts of things. Definitely don't try to hit it with a HIIT workout during this time, or you might cry. You might just cry, you know, because you're going to PMS a little bit as well, right? You're going to be like, oh, yeah, my period's coming. Oh, these guys hurt real bad. Yep, they hurt real bad. Oh, is this a pimple? Oh, yeah, that's a pimple. Yep. Some foods that are good during this time are, we've got sweet potatoes, squash, healthy fats, proteins, sunflower seeds, sesame seeds. And this is, again, when you're trying to avoid the processed sugars, the fried foods, the greasy foods, and caffeine and alcohol, which that's a cruel joke, because if I'm feeling low energy and I'm cramping and I'm feeling sad, I want a snack. I want a little treat. So how do we squeeze in the little treat? Let me know. What else do I have screenshotted? Luteal phase is just brutal, man. You want to prioritize iron, zinc, complex carbs, healthy fats, and leafy greens, as well as vitamin B6 and magnesium. Mint is also apparently very helpful during this time as well. So that is pretty much the SparkNotes version of your cycle in a very brief summary. If this is new information to you, do not feel upset, because it is probably new information to so many women for whoever listens to this. And again, don't feel ashamed, because I also myself just learned this recently. I was at my functional medicine doctor and we were just discussing, like, for me, like, I have a very abnormal, irregular period. I've tried oral contraceptives. I've tried so many things, and like nothing can seem to regulate it, which, like, that's a whole other problem in itself. So I have to do like ye old fashioned like tracking with like pen and paper, which is so fun. But she was telling me, like, oh, like, here's how we can do certain things to support your cycle and your hormones. And like, we're going to eat certain foods and certain nuts and certain vitamins and supplements. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. Wait, you said to support my cycle? Like my period cycle? Like, what? She's like, oh yeah. Like the 4 parts of the cycle. What? Come again? If you take this information and you apply it to your cycle, you will notice a huge change in how you're feeling. Huge change. You will notice a huge change. Huge. You will notice a huge change in how you're feeling. You will be feeling so greatly after you cycle sync. You'll feel so greatly, the greatest that you've ever felt. But for real, it's incredible. It hasn't changed my life, but it's definitely been a positive thing in my life in terms of how I'm feeling, how I'm hydrating, nourishing, and keeping my body as healthy as possible. And again, I feel also so heartbroken that I never learned this growing up. Like, I can only imagine how helpful this would have been in late high school, early college, like when I really could have taken the reins of my body and my period and everything. So it is just a little bit heartbreaking to some capacity that most women don't know this. So I hope I shared something new with you today if you didn't know. And that's it for this episode. Aside from your random fun fact, which of course is going to be related to your period, because like, why not? Because that's all we talked about this episode, it seems. If you want to be even a little bit more bitter, so we talked about how you only have like peak energy for like 3 days max during your ovulation phase. If you want to be a little bit more upset in terms of your period, just wait. The average woman has more than 400 periods in her lifetime. And feminine products still aren't free. Imagine that. That's the other thing that would be different if men had cycles. That shit would be free. Between the average woman's first cycle and menopause, you can expect anywhere from 400 to 450 plus visits from Miss Flo. Women are badass. We are tough. We show up every day. We freaking push human beings out of our vaginas or out through our stomachs. And we still go to work and we hustle and we grind and we have businesses and we're incredible and we're iconic. Women are amazing. Okay? Pat yourself on the back. If you're a woman, if you're a man, don't pat yourself on the back. You don't deserve it. Not this episode. Not right now. If you ever struggle with like appreciating yourself, just know that you are incredible. Women are so tough. Like I say it to this day. And you know what else? I work in physical therapy in a trauma hospital. Okay. I see some of the worst things that will definitely cause me PTSD years later. That's besides the point. To touch on women being tough, I see the worst, most inhumane car accidents, gunshot wounds, stab wounds, trauma, domestic, literally anything. And every time without fail, when I treat a man and a woman and say they have pretty similar things going on, like car accident, broken ribs, broken leg, the woman undoubtedly always tougher than the man, because with physical therapy, obviously we're getting them up. And I'm not trying to be rude. I'm not trying to discredit anybody or make fun of anybody, because that's not what this is. I'm just making a statement merely off an observation. You can take, again, two of the exact same scenarios and the woman is always tougher, more likely to participate with me as physical therapy, more willing to get out of bed, willing to push themselves further, walk further, step further, not ask for pain meds, push through it, bite the bullet. And on the reverse, when I have a man, oh my God, most of the time they are whiny, they scream, they holler in pain, they over exaggerate their pain, begging for pain meds, hyperventilating, I can't do this. I can't. That's all I'm saying. I'm not discrediting anybody. I love my job. I will help any human ever that needs my help, but it's just interesting, right? It's just very, very interesting. 20-year-old male trauma patient, a broken femur, 20-year-old man was doing something stupid, drunk, jumped off something, broken femur. 87-year-old old woman who fell down 2 flights of stairs, broke 6 ribs, an arm, and her ankle. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you which one is crying less when I'm getting them up. And it's not Miss Judy. It's not old Judy in room 10 down there. It's gonna be Zach. It's gonna be the 20-year-old. Okay? He's gonna be screaming in pain, trying to move around. Okay? That's all I'm gonna say. Women are tough. They're amazing. If you're a woman, congratulations, okay? Do something nice for yourself. And on that note, don't forget to go easy on yourself. Thanks for listening. This podcast was kind of like, I don't even know. It's 2:00 in the morning that I'm filming this. Don't ask me why. We're not going to talk about it. Thanks for listening. I love you. Goodbye. See you in the next one.